In paper review today, we are bound by law not to discuss political conversations at least 24 hours to the polls. So we'll be discussing non-political political stories on the papers today. So we're going to start with The Nation. And a few stories there. Ogun Agro Cargo Airport records maiden flight. Electoral process kicks off with hitches. INEC considers shift of Enugu East senatorial poll. I think that's all the stories we can take. Who has, I had the, which one?
Yeah, I have electoral process kicks off with hitches. So it says, after going through the rigor of online registration for accreditation of reporters for the coverage of the 2023 general elections, media houses in Lagos closed last night without getting accreditation cards for their workers. They're saying that several media houses and state correspondents could not find the accreditation cards in the locations that they chose. And this, in spite of all the assurances that INEC had given them that this exercise will be smooth. They're saying that the Lagos and West media houses were told yesterday to send their reporters to the Commission's office in the state for manual accreditation. And INEC is saying that they would, they are aware of the complaints and they would do everything. They promised to look into the situation and it would be sorted. So these accreditation cards, this is what would allow them to go to all the different places to be able to report. And if you don't have those cards, they can't do that. They need that.
All right, so the Gateway Agro Cargo Airport, that's along the Ikperu-Ileshan Road in Ikenne, recorded its very first successful maiden commercial flight. Dr. Obiano, the governor of the state, was saying yesterday that it marked the actualization of the dream by former Governor Gbenga Daniel, adding that these developments align with his administration's plan to make their conducive atmosphere for industries to birth, not to only birth in Apapa, but to also use their own ports. So they're also going to be having dry ports. There's one, there's a Kajola in Ogun Central, and there's going to be, and there's another one, Olokola Port, which is also being worked on. And these are all birth, ideas birthed by the former governor, Gbenga Daniel, which he is now bringing to bear. So it's a congratulations to the state of Ogun. I'm happy that hopefully now, according to them, once this goes off, it will decongest the Apapa port and help to also ease business between the eastern region and the northern regions towards the southwest, which is a good thing.
I think it's a good thing. Less cars, less of those containers on the road. And
I have two short stories in The Nation. I took my stories from inside. So 15 passengers were yesterday confirmed killed in an auto crash at Nabodo village in Toro local government area of Bauchi State. The chairman or the sector commander of the FRSC confirmed the accident, and it says that it involved one articulated vehicle and a Toyota Hiace bus. According to him, he said 7 other persons were seriously injured in the accident, which occurred about 3 p.m. And he blamed the crash on a loss of control, speed violation, and dangerous driving. He said 22 persons were involved in the road crash. There were 18 male adults, 2 female adults, 1 female child, and 1 male child. 15 of the people, 12 male adults, 1 female adult, and 2 children lost their lives on the spot. That's a very huge one. And 7 others, 6 male adults and 1 female adult, sustained various injuries, and they've been taken to the Tafawa Balewa University Teaching Hospital in Bauchi for treatment. He went ahead to give advice on how they can drive safely. Now, secondly, banks announced early closure today. Deposit money banks are announcing early closure. Most of them are closing around 12, so that 12 to 1 p.m., so that people can get ready for the elections, but they are saying that we should not be worried. Other outlets for transactions are open, so we can still do our online transactions. And
right.
ATM. No.
Pre-election violence. Military, others begin raids on hoodlums' hideouts. FG shortlists firms to audit typos assets. Lagos motorists groan over multiple levies. Polls be peaceful, Biden urges Nigerians. 82.2 million PVCs collected. Lagos, Kano, Kaduna top the list. Alleged crime. How Finnish police grilled released pro-Biafran agitator Ekpa. Okay, let me start with Joe Biden. Joe Biden was congratulating all the candidates yesterday that they signed a peace deal in Abuja, and they also accepted that they would accept whatever, whoever becomes the winner, they'll concede to the decision. He said he commends yesterday's peace accord, and also he has told Nigerians to be patient and be peaceful while electing the officers, and they should also ensure that they count their votes. He also said that is happy that the political candidates and the candidates running have come together and they've been mature enough to come together to sign this peace accord. Say elections are a fundamental part of functioning democracy, and all Nigerians deserve this chance to choose their future and freely and fairly leader. He's also saying that they, as America, did not choose and they have absolutely no preferred candidate, but they're only asking that we have a free and fair election so that whoever becomes president is based on the people's choice and not by manipulation.
Yes, so I have INEC on Thursday released the number of collected and uncollected PVCs ahead of the coming election. A total of 87,209,207 PVCs were collected, with 6,259,229 uncollected as of February 5th. This contained a document that was released by the INEC chairman, of course, and then they gave a breakdown per state of the PVCs that were collected. And the top for the states is Lagos, Kano, and Kaduna, and for the list is Ekiti State. Ekiti State got 958,052 PVCs have been collected.
That's a good turnout because it's about just a little over 6 million people did not pick up their PVCs. I mean, from 90-something million, I mean, that's huge. So we got almost, that's a huge success. So I'm hoping that people do come out and vote. Any other story in Punch? Let's move on. Yeah?
So commercial transport workers in parts of Lagos State are lamenting that despite the strike action organized by motorists under the aegis of the Joint Drivers Welfare Association in November 2022, the situation has remained the same, and they still pay multiple levies to members of the Lagos State Parks and Garage Management. The Punch, did a report and said that GDWAN, that's their association, had embarked on 7-day strike over allegations of multiple taxation. And afterwards, after 7 days, they had to call off the strike, thinking that by now the government would have waded into the matter to help them solve it. But most of the drivers kept, complaining. A driver who plies Ushodi and Songo routes, Adewale Olufemi, said that he still pays close to 10 to 15 levies, and at some bus stops, he pays as much as 200 naira. And they found out that at the end of the day, they have to transfer all the levy payments to the passengers who are still groaning that they do not have enough to pay for transportation. So the government needs to do something about this.
Moving on now to Daily Sun. Security agents take over polls results collation center. EPA, IPOB factional leader arrested, released in Finland. DSS arrest bandits, gun runners recover large cache of weapons. It's illegal to close varsities, schools because of elections, says Afe Babalola. Naira redesign FG not in breach of Supreme Court, says Malami. And military police others vow to deal with troublemakers. Okay, which story are we starting with?
DSS arrests bandits, gun runners, and recovers large cache of weapons. The DSS said that it has arrested a number of criminals and seized a large cache of lethal weapons from bandits and gunmen operating in different parts of our country. DSS Public Relations Officer Peter Afunaya said that they carried out some of these raids based on proactive and intelligence-led operations conducted across the country. They mentioned so many arrests. There are quite a number of them. I think for time, I wouldn't take them specifically, but I'll take what he says. He says, as you're aware, the general elections will commence 25th of February, and DSS assures Nigerians of its commitment to peaceful exercise. It pledges its neutrality, professionalism, and good conduct of its personnel to the democratic process. It will continue to discharge its mandate of disseminating timely, actionable, and proactive intelligence necessary for tactical, operational, and strategic decisions, even beyond the elections. So just to remind us that they're working hand in hand with INEC to make sure that we have a peaceful and violence-free election.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So, the Central Bank of Nigeria said they are planning to create a new e-Naira ecosystem, and they are asking Nigerians and businesses to adopt the central bank digital currency, that's the CBDC, for transactions and trade. They also revealed that they are currently in talks with more telecommunication companies to help Nigeria key into the USSD adoption. So the coordinator, e-Naira CBN, Rakia Mohammed, said this when they were having a meeting with one of their technical partners, Bullnet, and Balogu Business Association in Lagos. This happened on Thursday. And he said that they introduced the e-Naira to improve financial inclusion into Nigeria increase cross-border transactions, diaspora remittances, and complement the nation's payment infrastructure. And they went ahead to say that a lot of people have been quite receptive to the eNaira platform. And so far, I think it's just MTN and Nine Mobile that have adopted this. They are still in talks with other telecommunications to see how they can adopt it, and this will improve us, our economy as a people and our businesses.
Okay, so the elder statesman, founder of Afe Babalola University, Ref Afe Babalola SAN, has condemned the fact that the Federal Ministry of Education and the National Universities Commission allowed for the closure of universities. He was quite miffed about the whole thing. He said that the forced closure of Nigeria's university by the ministry has done irreparable damage to students of the Nigerian universities. Their problems have been worsened by the scarcity of cash from the ATMs and all the. This has also made transportation very difficult for them. The illegal closure has adversely affected the curriculum, particularly in the private schools. Now, the public schools are even worse off, actually, because they have been on strike for quite a long time. And now you've asked them to close again for a few weeks, not even for a few days. So I was quite miffed about it, and he said that this is totally wrong and it shouldn't have happened. They should have actually considered the VCs to have a conversation and ask them before carrying out this, this decision. Okay, let's move on now quickly to the Nigerian Tribune. Over 87,000 PVCs collected, says INEC. First commercial flight lands in Ogun Cargo Airport. We took that story. We will use maximum force against troublemakers, says security forces. 2 Fiat killed, 6 vehicles burnt as political thugs clash in Kano. U.S. president calls for peaceful, credible poll. 24 hours to elections, hope, suspense across Nigeria. Troops arrest Abuja Kaduna train attack mastermind, 2 others in Kaduna. And Biafra agitator Simon Ekpa arrested and released in Finland. Who has any story we've not taken?
I think the Abuja Kaduna train.
Yeah, I took it in Vanguard, but I could.
Okay, let me take another story. I was just curious. So ahead of Saturday's elections, the armed forces and other security forces on Thursday declared readiness to ensure hitch-free polls as adequate measures have been put in place. There was a joint press conference in Abuja on security forces preparedness, and the acting director, Defense Information Brigadier General Tukur Gusau, spokesperson DSS, Dr. Peter Afunaya, and the Force Public Relations Officer, FPRO, CSP Olumuyiwa Adejobi declared that the election will be the most peaceful polls in the annals of the nation's history, as promised by the president. They urge Nigerians of voting age to troop out in large numbers to cast their ballots without any fear of intimidation, with a promise to deploy maximum force against troublemakers in any part of the country. They also reassured the public of military support to police during this election. Anyway, they're just saying, we are waiting for you, guns blazing, don't misbehave.
If you try yourself.
And for the regular, normal Nigerians that are coming out to vote, we got your back.
We got you. We like that.
That's the street language.
Yeah,
Thank you.
So, Miners Association set to establish solid mineral plants in 6 geopolitical zones. So, the Miners Association on Thursday said it will establish these solid mineral plants in the 6 geopolitical zones in the country. According to the acting president of the association, Alhaji Musa Muhammad, he said that they will start the establishment first in Kogi, and saying that there are a good number of mineral resources in the state. They are going to be showing a lot of good examples of leadership with this, as well as support the government to promote the development of the country. So he said the establishment of the plant to also bring investors into the state and create job opportunities for the youth. They will still move this to other states that have mineral resources, but for now they're starting with Kogi. I think it's a good one.
Wait, I have this story. I think it's interesting because it's the police warning politicians against misuse of social media. And I don't think we've heard enough of that. And this is the Nigerian police force in Sokoto State warning politicians to warn their members. And, you know, just saying that we must be mindful of how we use social media during this election. We need to remind us all that we don't have any other country apart from this country, and we must do the needful to ensure we protect it, and called on politicians in the state not to relate with rumors, advising them to always relate to security agents on whatever they hear concerning the elections. And I think it's just an important message for all of us during this time, because people would use social media to incite the politics.
Vanguard, let's find a story of not taking. Troops arrest mastermind of the Abuja Kaduna train attack. Sit at home, Simon Ekpa arrested and released by Finnish police. Elections, we are ready to defend democracy at all costs, says CDS Irabo. and Ogun Cargo Airport records maiden flight. So the defense headquarters yesterday said that the troops of the Operation World Punch have arrested 3 terrorists at the Damba Community Chikun local government of Kaduna State. According to the military, these terrorists were the masterminds of the March 28, 2022 Abuja-Kaduna train attack that left 9 passengers dead. The Major General Musa Dammadami, who disclosed the statement yesterday, said that on Valentine's Day, they recovered 2 motorcycles, 2 mobile phones, the sum of $5,000, and other currencies were found with them. They found this. One of them confessed. One of the 3 terrorists that was arrested confessed that he was the mastermind of the March 28th attack. And also, he also said that the February 16th, troops on fighting patrol made contact with terrorists at the Benin Kajuru local government, and 7 terrorists also fled. So, I mean, we're happy that the military are also closing in on many of these terrorists, and some of them are being those, especially those that have done some heinous crimes, like 9 people who died in the train attack, have been arrested. That's good news for the Nigerian military, and we're grateful for that.
There's a human interest story here. 43-year-old woman identified as Mrs. Akumere Aregbari reportedly died after she was punched by a 38-year-old woman identified as Enekedo Atabala during an argument over the delayed payment of 350 naira debt owed to her. So according to the story, this woman went to collect her debts from this elderly woman, and then she said she didn't have, and they started exchanging words. But then the woman who was owing went into the room, brought out the 350 naira to give to her, but the other one was very upset and was still insulting her when she landed a punch on the woman who came to collect her gbese, and then she slumped and died. She was taken to the hospital. No, first of all, she slumped, and she was taken to the church. So she got there. They were trying to stop the bleeding. It didn't work. They finally took her to the hospital, but it was too late, and then she died. So youths were really upset. They raised down the building of the woman who punched her. The police has picked them up, arrested them. Investigations are still ongoing. So when things happen like this, the first point of call is the hospital and not the church. Prayer cannot stop bleeding when we already have things that God has given us as doctors to help stop all these things. Why taking her to the church instead of going straight to the hospital? Her life may have been saved.
Okay, that's all we can take on Front Page Review. I forgot that today was my brother's birthday.
Oh!
Shani Akamasho. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
My baby was God bless you.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.